night. I can't wait till the world ends.
Welcome back to Can't Wait Till the World Ends. Y'all know what I mean by that? Doesn't mean that I get some kind of sick satisfaction when bad things happen. It's because the Bible lays out what's going to happen in the end of days, and we're seeing it all play out. Oh yeah, I know. You're probably going to say stuff has happened in every century. People always say the world's going to end. The world's not actually going to end. Yeah, there's an end of days. There is Armageddon. There's you could say apocalypse, but it's actually a transition from one era to the next. One where we had an era where sin had no sway on mankind, and everybody, well, the two people that were there lived in peace and harmony, and creation didn't resist them, and they were great stewards of creation, and they got to marvel and enjoy and just have peace in God's creation. And then we had I guess the first Armageddon, the first end of the world, when Adam and Eve brought sin into the world, and entropy was created, and everything that was in just perfect order, that could never be swayed left or right, that would always throughout all time be perfection, all that started to degrade and deteriorate, and death was brought into the world, and blah blah blah, right? Well, the opposite is going to happen. So after this end of this world, this apocalypse, everything's going to be restored. There's going to first be the 1,000-year reign of Christ, which even in that time, the nations, when they have problems, they're going to take it to the King himself, and we'll have prosperity and peace. And even then, sin will not be erased. Satan will just be he will be prevented from actively affecting us. And so even after the end of that 1,000 years, when Satan's released, there'll be another reckoning. That's the end of the end, when it's all resolved, and we live in eternity, and in the manner that we were meant to in the first place, with one major difference: we will be there by merit of our choice to serve and be with God, for our love for God. God loves us all. Not all of us love God. Most of us, the great majority of us, want to throw God away and be our own gods. And we don't want perfection. We don't want peace. We want what we want. We think we can do it better, and it will end in the kind of mindset where you gotta have evil to have good. Well, at some point, evil will be completely removed, and we'll still have good. What an intro! I'm gonna obscure the motivation for this particular podcast, I guess. It isn't the Tom MacDonald song. The motivation for the name is the Tom MacDonald song, Conspiracy Theorist. And it goes, can't wait till the world ends. Can't wait till the world ends and people stop telling me I'm crazy. But got a copyright strike last time. Thanks, Tom. Pretty sure I heard you say could use your songs. I guess I misinterpreted in what way I could use them. So, Will Smith slapped the taste out of Chris Rock's mouth. What y'all think about that? Well, first of all, most of the people that would probably be watching this wouldn't think much about it because that might be all they knew that happened at the Oscars, like myself. Didn't see another thing about it. And it may be, like I've heard a lot of people say so far, that it was staged because nobody cares about the Oscars. Nobody cares about the Golden Globes. Ricky Gervais played out the Golden Globes. He played the last. He was the band on the Titanic, playing the music as the ship went down. He said what all of us should be thinking, and then turned off the lights, looked around. It was a good while it lasted, but it's all trash now.
Just like Jeffrey Epstein.
Nobody cares about.
Shut up.
What?
I know he's your friend.
Actually,
I don't care.
Nobody that's watching this probably cares what celebrities think, but most people probably do care what celebrities think. Most people know what the Kardashians are doing or who they're dating. Sometimes you can't get away from it. I'd really like to do a little parody on the Pete Davidson thing, and Elon Musk. It's like instead of Pete Davidson, he's dating Kanye's old girlfriend, and now the whatever woman Chelsea Manning is dating Elon Musk's girlfriend. Let's see. Will Smith. So, I like a lot of movies that Will Smith is in. It really puts a hole in that whole America's a big racist country and black people can't succeed in this country and nobody wants black people to succeed. When the last podcast I think I did, we went over this statistics or polling. They took a random sample, polling a bunch of people, Democrats, Republicans, gay, straight, minority, majority, and they said, what do you think this is in America? I think that in America, this many people are gay, or this many people are black, or this many people are white. They took that, and then they took the U.S. Census Bureau data and showed the actual numbers. And the disparity was just shocking. As in, the majority of Americans believe that there's almost 50% of America is black, when it's actually less than 14%. So, if you think that 50% of America is black, but you don't see 50% of all your actors are black, then you would come to the conclusion that, America's a racist country. Nobody wants to see black people. In fact, I think that probably more than, I don't know the actual numbers, but I'd say that A-list actors, I'd say it's at least representative of the actual numbers in our country. I don't know that that's true. And I'm not against affirmative action. Some people would say that minorities should, make it to different positions with no bias or prejudice, but there shouldn't be anything helping them like quotas, like affirmative action quotas that says, 20% of your company must be this intersectional group. I'm not against letting minorities be overrepresented. I think it'd be pretty hard to be, like other minorities, like Asians, which was even less than, I think, man, I don't know what it was, maybe 6%. You apply for a job and you got like 94% of the people are outside of your particular group, your particular in-group, and it's like, wow, what chance do I have to get represented unless, the other side says, and the other side usually being right, the right side says, well, if you're good enough, if you're better than all the people, it doesn't matter what the color is, and but I also think that, you should have minorities represented. Even if what if they're 1%? They should be represented. They should. On the other hand, I think it would be hard if you're the majority and there's such a quota for affirmative action that you know that you have the best resume. You have you have the best experience. You have the best education. You have the best. You're more intelligent. You're more suited for the job. You're a better people person. But you're part of the majority, and there's quite a few of the minorities, and you know that you're not going to get the job because there's a quota. Doesn't matter. There's they have to be, so I can, either way, I see that it would be kind of disheartening, kind of, you would be discouraging. That's what I'm looking for, discouraging. But ever since I was a kid, I was born after desegregation. So, I grew up first in a school that I grew up in a Phoenix to begin with, right? There was a lot of minorities, a lot of Hispanics, a lot of blacks. And all my heroes, not all my heroes, but, I grew up when I hit the teenage years or preteen years, the Family Matters was what I watched, Carl Winslow was the dad I wanted to have. I didn't grow up in a traditional household. I was never fathered. And if I was to have a father, man, I wanted to be Eddie Winslow. And Steve Urkel was funny and he was cool. Wesley Snipes, yeah, he was really big back in that day. Even Samuel L. Jackson, and now you get to this point where Will Smith, from the time we were kids, has been in our household, and we watch all the movies, and I don't think anybody watches his movies. I don't think anybody watched Hancock and was like, yeah, it was a good movie, but man, I wish he was white. Or I don't think people watched Blade and was like, that would have been a lot cooler if Wesley Snipes was a white man. So I think things should happen more organically. Racism should be straight out the window. But then on the other hand, you have some people call it reverse racism. It's just racism. The critical race theory. Critical race theory is not the history of our country. Critical race theory is the history of exaggerating the absolute worst case scenarios and saying that is the main story. That is it's very dishonest. And I made this comparison before that if you took the most rainbow-haired liberal pansexual Antifa member and said, what is the state of during the Trump presidency? How is the country? They would say it was the most horrible, racist, authoritarian Nazi regime that ever existed. You let that guy in every single period of American history tell the history as if that was the main theme. That was the way that everybody perceived it. That was it. That's critical race theory. It's not real. I am all for acknowledging atrocities happen. Bad things happen. Probably not as bad as or with as bad a motivation with everybody involved. Some people had bad motivations. Some people were racist. Some people wanted to kill, ethnically cleanse areas. I mean, it still happens all over the world. America's no exception. You look at Rwanda, just in a few decades ago, they were ethnically cleansing. You look at Sierra Leone. What the Arab people did to the black Africans in Sierra Leone is mind-bogglingly evil. And you go back a little further and you see what, the Nazis and the Jews. And I mean, there's nobody with clean hands. There's nobody that hasn't owned slaves either, especially owning even white slaves, right? There was different periods of time. There was a period in time where, hey, there's a lot of Jews that were slaves. There's a lot of period in time when these people that were so known for making good slaves that they called them the Slavs. And there's Slavic people. And then you had time when, a lot of Africans bought Slavic slaves. A lot of Africans and Middle Eastern people bought the Christian slaves in the early church history. There's a book called, I think it's called Tried by Fire or something. It deals with the persecution side of the first century, first 1 through 5th centuries before Islam, but after Christ, the persecution and the just the horrific things that Christians went through, including being sold in slavery, and how there were some good Samaritans that saw the Christians getting ready to be shipped across the Mediterranean and bought whole shiploads to free them. The Vikings went around, those blonde-haired, blue-eyed white people went around and were they enslaved the people that were ethnically inferior to them, those other white people, and they made slaves out of them. So usually when we're looking at history, we look from the top down. We can't look from the bottom up to see how far things had come from a certain point. We got to look. It doesn't matter. We're up here, and anything below this level right here is 100% wrong. There's nothing that can be good from it, even though it was a step up to something better. But hey, am I still talking about Will Smith? Will Smith. So this guy, I like his movies. I don't care for the guy. It's not somebody that I just dislike. He's not as vocal politically against people like me. See, I don't want to offend anyone. I really don't. I don't want to offend anyone. I vote usually Republican because whether that's their actual motivation or their ulterior motives happen to align with my morality, they're not doing it to be moral or just, but they're doing it probably to get my vote. So I don't think it's always like that, and I don't think that every Democrat is a not a not. I'm not going to go there. A communist plant that are for the Marxist revolution and completely dishonest and just trying to trick us all until they can affect culture enough that they can control the political means and monopoly on violence to force us all into compliance. No, some of them probably have good intentions. Some of the stuff he says is pretty scary, what he would like to do, but some of the stuff that Andrew Yang says makes a lot of dang sense, and I think he's sincere. So I don't want to offend people because they are Democrats. I'm not going to say, man, let me tell you what them stupid libtards did today, because that was me. I grew up a liberal. I grew up in my household. I could do anything. I could come home. I couldn't. I'm not saying I could do anything, but I'm saying that if I came home with a husband, okay, whatever. If I came home with a little bitty mustache and a swastika on my arm, not the worst thing in the world. If I came home with a bloody knife and a book of the Satanic Bible, everybody does their own thing. He's not, But if I would have came home and said, I voted for Republican, out of the house. Worst thing you could, hey, if you can go to hell, that's fine. But don't be a Republican. So I'm not saying that there's not a lot of Republicans that are institutionalized. I'm raising my kids to be Christian. Christianity, a lot of times, it was Christians that started the Republican Party to end slavery. So I don't care. I do care. I think that we should all be political, especially Christians should get involved politically. And I'm not an independent. I don't believe that, I believe that the government should stay out of and protect the liberties of the citizenry's business. I don't believe that we shouldn't give a damn about Israel, because whoever blesses Israel is blessed. Whoever curses Israel is cursed. And I don't think that, I think it's pretty obvious just from the fact that Israel has been displaced twice. Displaced from their national birthright, the place that they were indigenous to, and they've returned twice. Never that I know of in the history of humanity has a people been displaced and then regained not only their country, not only returned to their country, but regained they are now in control of their country. They are now they have the authority. What word am I looking for? They have the anyways, they're in control of their country. I'll probably think of it in a minute and blurt it out when I'm thinking of something completely different. So the whole replacement theology that after Jesus, after the Jews rejected Jesus or the gospel, and it was preached to the Gentiles, and then now the Gentiles are the new Jews, and the Jews don't matter anymore. No, that's ridiculous, especially if you look at Jerusalem right now. And sovereignty. They have sovereignty of their country. And they will continue to play a role in their country until the end. Until a couple days from now. Just kidding. Maybe. Just kidding. Maybe. Months. That's what I meant. Maybe years. Maybe a decade or two. Or maybe tomorrow. So, am I still talking about Will Smith? Will Smith. He doesn't have his house in order. He's not a guy to emulate. He's not the kind of man that I want to be. His wife isn't in a committed relationship with him, and apparently he at least is complicit with it. He may not like it, but he supports it publicly. He doesn't train up his children in the way they should go. He's got children pushing the trans agenda, wearing women's clothing and promoting it, and he's very proud of them. And train up a child in the way they should go. Because, you know why? Because we shouldn't let children do whatever they want to do or make whatever decisions they want to make, because they're children. They need somebody to tell them what's right and wrong. You don't have to teach a child to hit another child. You don't have to teach a child to lie. You don't have to teach a child to steal. You don't have to teach a child to do any of that, but you do have to teach a child to tell the truth. You have to teach a child to share. You have to teach a child not to knock their sibling's head off or pull their friend's hair. You have to teach them to be good. You know, the Bible says that because of sin nature, sin is bound in our heart, and there is none that do good, no, not one. Whatever goodness comes out of us is the grace of God. God is good. God is the goodness in us. And it rains on, God causes the rain to fall on the just and the wicked alike. So, goodness can come out of God's redeemed people and those who God would want to be redeemed, because he's not willing that any should perish, but that all should turn from their wicked ways and come to everlasting life. So enough preaching. Will Smith, whatever you think about what he did, which is a huge... What would happen if you did that? Well, I haven't always been as reserved and philosophical as I am now. About 20 theological and philosophical books ago, some man didn't threaten my honor, but I believed he threatened my family. So I struck him in public, and I didn't get to just go home. I'll get into that some other time, but a man never. It doesn't matter if it's a core that people are calling it chivalry and all this, but you don't have the right to initiate violence. Words are words. Sometimes they can be harsh, and when you get paid millions of dollars to be put out in the front like that, if you don't want to be put on the spot or have jokes made about you, then you can quietly retire and go do your own thing. But if you want to be in everybody's living room over and over every year and have people pay you millions and millions of dollars, and you're supposed to be setting a higher standard, then I don't think that a lot of the arguments about, well, he just got pushed too far. No, it wasn't. And hey, I like Will Smith is a more serious actor, right? He does a lot of comedy and everything, but I like his more serious stuff. 7 pounds. Oh, man. But Chris Rock, he's funny. He's funny. I think Chris Rock is funny. A lot of people think Dave Chappelle is funny, and I think Dave Chappelle. I had a dream that somebody came up to me and said, "Oh, I just saw you got to see this movie called Half Baked," and I was like, that's a movie from back when Dave Chappelle was funny and not just racist." Say what he said about Candace Owens. That is just disgusting. Not funny at all. Candace Owens is a smart person, and she should come on his show. He should come on her show and explain himself. And I think that would be a good conversation, and she wouldn't do a hit piece on it. So, Dave Chappelle, will you go on Candace Owens' show? And I bet she even said you were funny after you said that her smells like. So, yeah. I just kind of wanted to get a little bit out of how I felt. These celebrities, I'm always talking about it. They're idols. They are modern day idols. And it's okay to have people out there that set good examples and you can look up to. And a lot of times the people they play in the movies are that person. But personally, they're not your friends. Look at all the commercials. If you're not so far on the left, you know that one of your favorite actors or comedians has made a commercial where they let you know what they think about you, and it's not good. So you guys like when other people on the show. So the next show I'm probably going to have, probably going to get really talking about what I really think. Not trying to be as funny as I have before. Yeah, surprise to you, I was trying to be funny. I'm going to go deep into the whole Ukraine thing. I think it might surprise you what I'm willing to finally come out and say. Might get taken off like some of my other videos. I don't know how many more strikes I can take. Just kidding. I only got a warning. So until next time, can't wait till the world ends.